Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Tom Wilson Racing YouTube channel. Quite a big video this evening looking at racing for Saturday from Haydock, Musselburgh, and Fairyhouse. Although we haven't got prices for Fairyhouse yet. We give you a couple of horses that I'm looking at, price dependent, obviously, but a couple of horses that I've noted already. We'll be back hopefully Saturday evening with a look ahead to Sunday's card at Fairyhouse. Definitely back Sunday ahead of the Irish Grand National on Easter Monday. So look out for a few videos coming up over the weekend. But without further ado, we're going to get straight into the action, starting with the 205 at Haydock, which is a Class 2 handicap hurdle over 1 mile 7 furlongs. Ground at Haydock recently suggests soft, a bit more rain forecast tomorrow. I think they could be looking at soft to heavy maybe all round. I'm working on the basis of heavy ground to be on the safe side. Brentford Hope tops the market here at 5-2. You've got Playful Satan there 9-2. Mill Down comes here looking for a free timer. The Churchill Lad, My Naked, and so on. Couple of ones to eliminate straight off the bat. Mill Down for Jamie Snowden. Yes, he's won 3 times on heavy ground. He posted a 125 RPI, which was his highest on heavy ground last time out when he bet Playful Saint by a neck at Stratford earlier this month. But he will have to overcome a career high mark of 126 and stepping up in class for the first time to this level. Yes, he could improve, but the mark of 126, when you look at those ahead of him, he's got to step up quite a bit to win this race. I'd also be quite keen to take on Brentford Hope with Harry Durham at the top of the market. Must respect his recent form on heavy ground, having won last time out, but he's been raised a further £5 for career high mark of 140 after beating up 122 rated Horn Cave last time out. Did finish a respectable third behind Hansard in Grey Tree Company at Newbury in December, but aside from that, he's been well beaten on all starts when stepping out of Class 3 Company. Not only is he stepping back up in class, but he'll also have to overcome top weight in testing conditions. I think he's a favourite that you'd want to be taking on, to be honest with you. And I do like Playful Saint here for Dan Skelton, made an encouraging reappearance at Stratford earlier this month, following a 366-day absence, beating only a net one, conceding plenty of weight to Mill Dam, where I pound out the handicapping testing conditions, carrying 12-1, and he will beat only a neck. Raised £3 for that run, but still a pound lower than when finishing third in the Imperial Cup at Sandown last March off a mark of 135. Very generously treated by the handicapper to be dropped £4 for a 5-length defeat when finishing third that day. Form of that Imperial Cup third looks fair, with ICO winning and stablemate Knickerbocker Glory finishing ahead of him that day. ICO made a fair impression over fences, and Knickerbocker Glory won a competitive handicap at Ascot earlier this month. Forming behind of those that day is also respectable, with Jello finishing 8th. He's since made a great strides over fences, now rated 148 over fences, having placed in Grade 1 company the last twice that he's run. Metier was also pulled up that day, but he went on to win the Chester Cup on the flat a couple of months later. Back to Playful Saint, he also owns decent form in behind Love Envoy, dual Grade 2 winner, when finishing second behind the Harry Fry trained mare at Sandown in December 2022, beating only a neck. Looks fairly tricky horse to get right, having only had 8 runs under rules, which is light for a 9-year-old. Bounce factor could normally be a concern, but considering that he stepped forward for his reappearance run in October 2022, I wouldn't be too concerned about that in this instance. Also, Verdansk Skelton stable is in 5 form with a 21% strike rate over the last 2 weeks. Given the bounce concern, I think he's a win only proposition now at 9-2, obviously 7-1 earlier on. Would have represented fair each way value, but considering that he is now down to 9-2, I think you would have to be looking at the win only for Playful Saint. Would give a mention to the Churchill Lad, but Playful Saint is the main play here. Moving on to the 240, just flicking through my notes here. With a Class 2 handicap hurdle over 3 mile, 1.5 furlongs now. This is going to be a slog. Judicial Lord topped the market earlier on, but he has been on a bit of a drift ever since then. Um, you've also so I thought quite a lot of these. In fact, I would find it quite hard to find a horse that I felt would handle challenging conditions and would relish the 3 mile trip in heavy ground. I've come down on the Venetia Williams, uh, Tegyakiak. That's definitely wrong, but we'll call it the Williams trained horse for this, number 5, if you like. Typically for a Venetia Williams trained horse, he seems to have to well in the mud. Well worth the £7 rise for his 25 length win at Newbury early this month to a mark of 124. Some okay form behind that day, supervision. Second was coming there after an underwhelming chasing campaign, but his form over hurdles is much better, having beaten Mr. Coffee back in December 22 and finishing second to Fern Hill. Hermonio AA was back in fourth, who was previously finished close second in Grade 3 company at Sandown and putting a big performance at Cheltenham earlier in the season. Although the Venetia Williams trained horse was well held when last seen at Utah 2 weeks ago, when finishing third of 17 runners, being 20 lengths, his other form at this level is also finishing of a respectable standard. Having placed at Chepstow in December and finished fifth in that race won by Nurse Susan at Lingfield in January. More importantly, he holds winning form on heavy ground over the street, which most of these are missing. Slight concern would be that this is his third run in March, but I doubt Venetia Williams who is operating at a fair strike rate of 15%, would run him again if she didn't think he was capable of winning. You are going to get extra places all over the shop here. Betfair at the moment, 10 to 1 with 5 places. I'd be looking at Sky Bet there, 9 to 1, 5 places. I'd take a point lower for the extra place there. I think he could run a big race here off a mark of 124. 6-year-olds with potential for further improvement, and I think he'll absolutely relish conditions. Moving on to the veterans race now over the 2 mile 4 furlongs. Again, the price has gone a little bit, but Newbury is the way that I'll be playing it here for Heather Main. Sean Bowen, who's obviously in that jockey championship race with Harry Compton at the moment, takes the ride. Encouraging reappearance at Exeter early this month following a 340-day absence, beating 10 laps when finishing fourth. But Selena treated by the handicapper following that run, dropped £3 for a mark of 129, now £2 lower than his last winning mark of 131. When he balled up in Doncaster in March 22, running out a 20-length winner. That's not to say there's been out of form since that win, though. He's put in some nice performances. He finished second in the Class 2 contest here at Haydock in April 2022, off a mark of 140 when beating a length. He finished third at Newbury at this level, off a mark of 142 in November 2022. Finished second behind Heltenham at Newbury last March, off a mark of 135. Heltenham has since gone on to win 3 races, including Grade 3 level, and has improved £19 in the handicap since. His record on soft to heavy ground is decent enough. First, third, fourth, first, pulled up, second, pulled up, fourth. He also seems to be some sort of a springtime horse with 6 of the 8 times that he's run to an RPR of 130 plus, coming in the middle from the middle of February onwards. I think this could be the right time to get on board. Now, I'm going to be siding each way 11 to 2 with 4 places Sky Bet. I can't see him being out the first 4, to be honest with you. Now, that is it from Haydock. I'm going to move across to the flat action at a Musselburgh. Now, Peace Walk, I was fancying for this, is no longer running. The Ice Max is the one that I'm going to be going for, though. It's soft ground all over. Let's have a quick look. So, actually, on second thoughts, we're going to be leaving the Ice Max. No bet in the first race at Musselburgh, but we do have a bet in the 225, which is the Class 2 Silver Arrow handicap over 7 furlongs. Quite like the 4-year-old angle here, coming into this race in the hope that the handicapper hasn't quite got a handle on their ability yet. And I think a mark of for 100 for Poet Master here for Carl Berkel's fair. His only defeat last term came over a mile, so encouraged to see him start off this season over 7 furlongs. A trip over which he won all 3 of his starts by an accumulative 9 laps. Of the 12 races I hold information for at this track last season, 3 over this trip, 10 were won by horses ridden prominently, which suits poets and masters at running style. It took a keen hold in third close to the leaders when finishing over course and distance winner last June before making all at Haydock in July and running out of 5 lengths for that day. He won his final outing of the season at Doncaster in September when again racing prominently. So I think the way that the race, this horse will really stand in good stead here at Musselburgh. Whilst his two early season victories came on good ground, that Doncaster win came on ground described as good to soft, though it was probably much softer than the official going description would lead you to believe, so I think he'll handle soft ground here. Alvaro de Vega, who was a Grade 1 Group 1 winner on soft ground in France, and more rain shouldn't be too much of a concern either. The Carberg stables made a typically fine fashion to the season with a 21% strike rate over the last 2 weeks. Poet Master point to win at 11 to 4. Moving on to 3 o'clock, which is the Class 2 Scottish Sprint Cup over 5 furlongs. Sticking with Carl Burke trained horses, I like Silky Wilkie's chances of repeating his success in this race last year. Considering that he's only won one of his 12 starts on the all-weather, I would be willing to forgive his last 3 runs and prefer to view them as A, a stepping stone to getting him right for this rate, and B, a means of getting his handicap mark back down, which could achieve with great success, it must be said, as he arrives here off a £2 lower mark than when winning this race off a mark of 99 12 months ago. He underwent a similar preparation last season, campaigned on the all-weather before arriving here, so he's come here with almost identical preparation. He won this race in identical conditions last season, uncomfortably by 4 lengths, so he should be A-rate for this one on Saturday. Although his mark has dropped now £6 over the last 3 runs, he put in some notable performances after his win here last season. He placed twice in listed company, first late at Epsom in June when beating a short head, and later at Beverley when beaten less than a length. So please don't be deceived by the following handicap mark as an absence of ability. I think he's been campaigned to get him right for this, and I really, really, really like his chances here. Point win at 5 to 2. I don't have a particularly strong betting angle for the Queen's Cup, other than the fact that I think Metier will run his race on soft ground. I think you can do a lot worse than 11 to 1 Sky Bet 5 places each way. So that'd be the way that we're playing it, but no strong angle as such. 3 horses to throw you for Fairyhouse, as I say, no prices yet. But the first of those comes in the Mare's Handicap Chase, which is a listed race. And I do quite like Gordon Elliott's Jumping Jet here. Just having a quick look through the jockey bookings, though I hadn't seen these before. Right then, so Jumping Jet was a comfortable 6-1 winner on heavy ground over a similar trick to this at Navan on her penultimate start and ran with respect on Grade 3 company at Naas last time out, was beaten only 3 lengths and the mark of 1-2-1 remained unchanged. I think on that third in graded company, she looks fairly well handicapped off 1-2-1. I think given the jockey booking of Danny Gilligan, you may get a fair each way price. Obviously, no price at the moment, so these are just horses that I've shortlisted. 355, we move on to look at No Bet There, Cool Survivor, who I had previously quite liked the look of, not declared. And the final selection was in the 505, which is a handicap hurdle listed race. I like the look of Risk Bell here. Previous course and distance winner, was beaten only 8 lengths in the county hurdle, but dropped back £3 to a mark of 134, which was the last winning mark. I just thought that was of interest. So Risk Bell potentially might get an each way play about her. They're the only 2 selections I have from Fairyhouse, though. So that rounds off this edition of the vlog, if you like. As always, I'd really appreciate if you could give me a follow over on Twitter at RacingTJW. If you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, let me know what you're backing this weekend. Hopefully, we'll get a few winners, and I shall see you Saturday evening for a look ahead to Sunday's racing. Cheers.